Hey, what's up guys, Rev here. So for months now, there's been a lot of drama surrounding the game Stellar Blade, and just when you thought this discourse couldn't get any crazier, something else happens. And that something else is another bounty being placed on someone's head, a threat to their life, because they called out the censorship of this game, which is confirmed, by the way. It's more than just outfits. There is multiple aspects of Stellar Blade that have been censored, and these changes have been acknowledged by the director of Shift Up, and all of this is a direct contradiction to the way that this game was advertised as an uncensored release. Now, one of the main people leading the charge against the censorship of Stellar Blade has been Mark Kern, or known as his Twitter handle, Grums. He has been calling out these acts of censorship and created a petition that hopes to revert these acts of censorship. Now, he's been targeted by a lot of people who are trying to attack him for calling out these acts of censorship, and he was once again trending yesterday, and for some absolutely vile reasons. Now, we covered this tweet a few videos ago where someone offered $20,000 to anyone who could make Mark Kern disappear. This is responding to a tweet where he is showing uncensored outfits of Eve, so you can compare them to the censored versions. This is the reaction someone had. A literal crime, by the way, putting a bounty on someone's life. Now, of course, I would cover that in a video that later Asmongold would react to yesterday called Normal People React to Stellar Blade Censorship, and we would get a reaction-ception here when the Twitch streamer DenimsTV would react to Asmongold's video, reacting to my video. However, in her reaction, she would up the bounty to $30,000, the bounty on Mark Kern's head.
Listen, I'll up the number, okay? $30K to anyone who'll make this dipshit disappear and make Eve's breasts bigger. Okay, you have to do both. All right? Because then it's a win-win for me. I get more breast, and I don't have to see that moron on my timeline anymore. So if you think about it.
Now, in case you're wondering at home, based on a fair interpretation of the law, what she did, what she said in that clip might constitute a felony in the United States. Now, for those who don't understand what constitutes something as a felony, that means the violation of that law carries a minimum of 1 year in prison. So what she did might actually land her in some very serious trouble. And no, adding the little joke at the end about Eve's boobs does not somehow cancel out what she had already said. Now, because she was reacting to Asmongold's video about this threat, there is some confusion as to whether she was addressing this comment towards Mark Kern or Asmongold or both of them. And this was Asmongold's reaction to seeing this clip.
Because then it's a win-win for me.
What a retard.
I get more breast, and I don't have to see that moron on my timeline anymore.
Oh my god.
So if you think about it.
Well, she's so aggressive? Well, it's simple. So how do you deal with a situation like this? It's really easy. I contacted Twitch about it earlier. I sent them the clip, and we'll see what happens. And, you know, maybe after that, I might put in a police report. I'm gonna just wait and see how things play out. This is unhinged. It's completely unhinged. It's totally uncalled for. Yeah, this is like a felony. What is this? She's got me on the screen, and she's saying that. Yeah, so I did see this. I thought it was quite ridiculous. It's actually kind of a surprise.
So obviously, like we've said, this is a very serious situation where what she said very clearly at the minimum violates the terms of service of all of the related platforms, and also, as many people claim, has also broken the law as well. She is in some hot water. She's going to be dealing with a lot of headaches out of the situation, which of course is a self-inflicted wound. She said this under no pressure. She did this openly, and it's recorded in front of a live audience for everyone to see. Now, there's been a lot of reaction to this tweet that's going around, and here's some of the more popular responses. This user saying, wow, I gotta look up what this guy did to get them to this point. Oh, he just said video games shouldn't be censored. Here's another one from Chibi Reviews saying, this is all over Stellar Blade, by the way. Woke up seeing a streamer putting a literal death bounty on someone's head for not liking censorship. This person legit needs mental help. Yeah, I feel like when you get kind of lost in the woods here, you're doing all these arguments and people are getting back and forth with each other, you kind of forget what we're talking about. Obviously, these issues are important, right? Nobody wants this censorship of Stellar Blade. People want to speak out against it and get it reverted, hopefully, right? It's important to a lot of people, but it's not life and death. It is not life and death, and we're at a point where people are putting multiple bounties on people's heads over the situation, over calling out censorship of a video game. If that is your reaction to someone calling out censorship, you are not well. If you're wishing harm upon someone based on that, you are not well. And in this situation, it's very odd because we've seen all kinds of death threats be thrown at Asmongold, Mark Kern, even myself, from just random Twitter users, but you don't see people who are established Twitch streamers do stuff like this. I mean, that's why it's so crazy. But moving on to another comment, this user said, the craziest part is if Grums threatens someone like that, no one would view it as a joke and it would make national headline news. And that is very true. If Mark Kern had made a threat like this against someone else, he would be annihilated. He'd be wiped off the face of the earth. Every platform he was on would be removing him, right? I think that's very obvious. However, in this situation, people are actually trying to defend what she said and act like it's not that big of a deal. But we know if the roles were reversed in the situation, they would not be feeling the same. People would not have this same view because they dislike Mark Kern and they're trying to defend anyone who is going after him. And also this idea, if Mark Kern did this, people like me and other people who have been supportive of him would be critical of him if he made this threat. In fact, if Mark Kern had made a bounty like this against someone else, I would have immediately dropped any support for him because that would be unhinged. But in this situation, people are trying to justify it because they don't like him. In fact, this part about the joke is something that a lot of people are doing. People are trying to claim that this is just a joke. And if this was, of course, reversed roles, they would not claim it was a joke. You can see CaseyTron here saying this. Imagine your biggest problem in life is female video game characters not showing enough skin. And when people make fun of you for it, you pretend that you're getting death threats. The only thing you're a victim of is your own porn sickness. Of course, calling everyone you don't like a porn addict, how mature. But also you can see multiple layers of denying the truth. They are trying to act like the censorship is only down to the outfits, when we know it's about more than just that, and it's also about broken promises from Stellar Blade. They're trying to minimize what people are actually complaining about, and then in the same breath are trying to claim that he wasn't getting death threats. The clip is literally right there, where she puts a bounty on his life. You can put the evidence and shove it right in their face, and they will still say it didn't happen. Whether it's with the censorship or with these threats, they just pretend like it's not there because it suits their own agenda. In fact, I think CaseyTron's just mad because the other day she tried to go after Asmongold, and he absolutely annihilated her with this reply. I think she's still mad about this. That's why she's making those comments. But moving forward, here's another comment saying, doesn't matter what you think of him, putting out hits, especially publicly like this, is not something that's a joke or funny. There is no grounds for free speech here. This is inciting physical harm against someone. I mean, how do you explain this any other way than exactly that? This is not free speech. Free speech has its limits. You can't incite violence against people. What is she doing when she puts a bounty on someone's head and has a bounty out for their life? What is that other than inciting harm against someone else? And here's Legal Mindset, obviously an attorney, and this is his perspective on the situation, saying, the comments hilariously destroy this woman, but the reality is, this is a clear unfair application of TOS. Twitch, YouTube, and X suspend accounts for saying far less and without direct threats of violence. And adding in a comment about Eve's breasts at the end does not change anything. She probably thought she was smart doing so. It's like people who say, in Minecraft, right? You'll see someone make a threat against someone else and they'll say, well, in Minecraft. That does not, escalate that or de-escalate it to something lower than a threat. It's still a threat, even if you add in a little quib like that to make it a joke. It's still a threat. And she is aware of this. So when this initially happened, her own viewers were saying that she did something very, very seriously wrong and said that they were calling the police on her over this threat. And this was her initial reaction to people saying that.
Oh my God. I just love holding streamers accountable. Sir, If you show a cop that clip, he's gonna laugh in your face. Half of that clip is me talking about liking big boobs.
Well, as you can see, she's not laughing anymore. As this clip went viral on Twitter, she immediately privated her account and she has gone into hiding, which is not surprising. All of these people who make these crazy statements, the second they face any consequences or criticism, they immediately private their accounts. We've seen it happen with pretty much every single person involved in this Stellar Blade fiasco, and it's just predictable at this point. But really, the takeaway from all of this is people have gotten way too comfortable saying the most outrageous stuff on social media. I get it, okay? Some of these things are heated topics. People insult each other. People make fun of each other. People criticize each other. But when it gets to a point where a conversation about censorship of a video game gets to a point where people are having threats on their lives, like, what are we doing? People are way too comfortable, and this Mike Tyson quote will live on forever because people keep doing this. People keep acting like they can say whatever they want with no consequences just because they feel basically empowered by their moral disagreement over censorship of a video game character and how we should view it. But moving forward, here's Mark Kern's response to everything. He says, "Yes, I'm upset about a streamer upping the joke bounty on my head, but I deleted everything except the video clip to keep the focus. All this because people want to stop the petition. Sign it today and make it all worth it." You can see his petition and the related hashtag Free Stellar Blade, which unfortunately now has been censored by Twitter. This is not too surprising. They tend to clamp down on things like this all the time, but the hashtag Free Stellar Blade has been censored on Twitter. But despite this hashtag being hidden by Twitter over 24 hours ago, in that same time period, the petition has grown by over 20,000 signatures, and it's now up to 55,000 in total, which is absolutely crazy. And again, I'll put a link to this in the description. Go ahead and give that a signature and add your support to this campaign. So hopefully we can get these censorships rolled back. Now, again, I think it's important to take a step back and just realize how far things have gone. A conversation about censorship of a video game has led to such extreme reactions, and the people making these threats and alike, they think they're the normal ones in this situation, and it's totally insane. It is hard to understand why people are so threatened by someone calling out very visible censorship of a video game that they were promised, that the customer was promised wouldn't be censored. Why are people so angry about those calling it out? It's truly a head scratcher. And before we go, there's one more thing I want to point out. So you guys know I work with Advanced GG, and they have new lines of stuff coming out here. You can see their nice selection here. I always love this little formula setup they got for their focus, energy, and hydration. And I wanted to add this in at the end because they returned the lemonade hydration flavor, which I know is a fan favorite among you guys. So I wanted to let you know that that is back. And of course, use code REV at checkout for 10% off of your order. But for now, that is the news, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys next time.